And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hazardous weather graphic, first one here, showing a blizzard warning out for the Bering Strait coast here, Tin City, Teller, Wales, those areas on up to Shishmaref, and as well as the northwest coast here, Kivalina, and a winter weather advisory out for Point Hope and Cape Lisburne. Up to Point Lay, again for visibilities there, and those gusty winds reduced to a half mile or less in blowing snow and whiteout conditions here in the blizzard warning area. And then a winter weather advisory out for St. Lawrence Island for north winds gusting 50 miles an hour and visibilities and blowing snow reduced to under half a mile. Winter weather advisory out here in the central interior, and a winter storm warning out for the eastern interior here, north of Fairbanks on up toward Arctic Village, so in the Yukon Flats there. And that's for heavy snow. And then winter weather advisories out for Eagle, Upper Tanana Valley, 40 Mile Country, including Fairbanks, North Pole, all the way down toward Northway for snow and blowing snow there. And coming southward, winter weather advisory for the Susitna Valley out for more heavy snow tonight into tomorrow. And an avalanche warning here for the western Prince William Sound zone. And that's, let's see, from Girdwood, avalanche warning there, in toward Portage, avalanche warning, and then down the highway at both Turnagain Pass and Moose Pass. Seward in the avalanche warning area as well. And winter storm warning continues for heavy snow for or for the areas of the Copper River Basin. And then a high wind warning out for Yakutat for winds gusting later tonight and tomorrow, gusting over 60 miles an hour. High wind warning also out for the central coast of the Panhandle, Prince of Wales Island. In fact, all of the southern southeast coast has a high wind warning out for winds gusting over 60 miles an hour. The next front coming in later tonight and tomorrow. Flood watches here in the yellow shaded areas everywhere else over the southeast coast. Satellite imagery showing big plume of moisture continues to stream northward here, bringing pretty heavy rains and precipitation into the North Gulf Coast today. Back into the Susitna Valley, where heavy snow is falling this afternoon at Talkeetna. They picked up 5 to 10 inches during the daytime hours today. Otherwise, Seward, Yakutat picking up over an inch of rain again during the daytime hours today, ending at 3 p.m., 12-hour period there, while Cordova had about 2 inches of rain. And some of that falling as snow in Seward, but a lot of it, the heavier portion falling in the form of rain there. Lighter amounts in over the Panhandle today, but you can see this moisture area extends all the way down off the chart there. To the west, where we have this south to north flow here across the Gulf of Alaska, we've got north to south flow going on, continuing from the Arctic up here all the way down across the Pribilofs, central eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula area, and narrow area of high pressure here trying to hold this system back to the west here, frontal boundary there, low pressure near Shimia. That's going to actually slide off to the southeast here, not be much of a factor at all as the northern portion of that front just weakens before a bigger storm comes in on Wednesday. And there we go. There's that low pressure area out there over the western Bering Sea, actually a little bit farther south when I have it drawn here, or very close to Shimia there. And then high pressure, and then this northerly wind flow continues with the snow and blowing snow. Actually, eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, all the way up along the west coast into the Bering Strait area and the western Arctic coast with peak wind gusts of, let's see, 55 miles an hour at Tin City, and then down on the southwest coast, Cape Newenham had 60 mile an hour wind gusts, Cape Romanzoff 66 miles per hour, and lighter winds inland here, but areas of snow, anywhere from light snow showers to heavier snow, as I mentioned, the Susitna Valley today, with areas of snow extending all the way up into the Brooks Range with some pretty gusty winds through the passes of the Brooks Range now out of the northeast up there, and then back to light winds along the north slope to the Arctic coast. And south to north flow here brought winds gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour into the Copper River Basin. And where that happened, the temperature jumped up into the mid-30s there and tended to shut off the precipitation And that tight gradient there off the coast of the Panhandle will tighten further tonight as another front kind of moves up, tightens the gradient up, and that'll bring storm force winds in late tonight and tomorrow there into the southeast coast with rain heavy at times across the entire area. Otherwise, areas of snow, central and eastern interior, all the way up to the north slope and the Arctic coast, where it'll be much lighter up there. And then no change here out over the Bering Sea and the Alaska Peninsula with cold northerly flow, bringing numerous snow showers and snow squalls from the Bering Strait, St. Lawrence Island, right on down into the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. Winds a little lighter for the eastern Aleutians here, gradients starting to slacken off. This low kicking off to the east-southeast, and tomorrow will be off the chart there, just the remnants of that original front holding back to the west. No change for the Bering Sea. Cold north winds continue, and low pressure here over just south of Montague Island, it looks like at this time. Could be off a little bit there, but generally right there southeast of the Kenai Peninsula. So areas of snow, Cook Inlet, Madawaska Valley, Kenai Peninsula, up across the eastern central interior. Another trough here kind of spreading that back to the west. And light snow for the north slope and the Arctic coast. And strong winds, rain heavy at times, about sums it up for the Panhandle for Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, conditions improve there, but still south flow and another weaker, much weaker front here. The couple of low centers associated with a couple of low centers there will keep it wet, but precipitation starting to taper off here over the southern areas, along with much lighter winds across the entire coastline there. And periods of snow, south central Alaska, North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, again up into the interior. Could be some blowing snow up here through the passes of the Brooks Range there with those gustier winds. Winds don't end, but starting to lighten up now here along the west coast areas, but still pretty gusty there across the Alaska Peninsula. Could see gusts 40 to 50 miles an hour continuing out of the northwest. Intense storm system pushes into the western Bering Sea with storm force winds and rain, warmer temperatures, especially along and behind that warm front pushing into the western and then central Aleutian areas. And for lows tonight out there, lower to mid 30s for the Aleutians and near 30 for the Fox Islands, 20s Alaska Peninsula, lower 20s Pribilofs, near 20 for St. Lawrence Island, and below zero up here over the north and northwest valleys across the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast. Teens, south central Alaska, near 20 for the low tonight in Homer, 18 for Kodiak, and 5 below to 5 above for Bristol Bay, and 5 below to 10 below for the Kuskokwim Valley, around 15 though for the Copper River Basin, and 30s to lower 40s for the southeast coast. Highs for tomorrow, 15 or 5 to 15 here over the eastern part of the state. And central Tanana Valley, right around 5 degrees. It extends west and south here. A little below zero for the highs there over the lower Yukon River Valley area out to the Yukon Delta, Kuskokwim Delta, and 0 to 5 for the highs for the Bristol Bay. And generally below zero there from Bettles across the Brooks Range to the eastern Arctic coast. Highs into the upper 40s for portions of the southeast coast, followed by lows. Again, 10 to 15, south central Alaska, 10 to 15 for Kodiak Island, around 10 for the Copper River Basin, north and west of the Alaska Range, below zero, coldest up along the Brooks Range there, but below zero all the way to the Arctic coast, and teens out to the west coast, mid-20s for the Pribilofs, 30s for the Aleutians, lower 20s for the Alaska Peninsula, and lows staying above freezing for the southeast coast. And for the highs, 40s for Wednesday afternoon for the Panhandle, teens and 20s here for areas again east and south of the Alaska Range, below zero areas to the west and to the north, again coldest in the Brooks Range, 5 to 20 for the southwest coast here, upper 20s for the Pribilofs, and now the Aleutians ahead of that big, or behind that warm front with a big storm out here to the west pumping warmer air northeastward here into the lower to mid 40s out that way.